Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 13th Transit Technical Advisory Committee. Let's get started with introductions. We'll just go around the room. I'm Dana Trey with SCTA, RCPA, and I'll send it over to Rachel.
Rachel with Santa Rosa City Bus.
Sonoma County Transit.
Jared All, Petaluma Transit.
Maria RC, Petaluma Transit.
Chris Barney, SCTA, RCPA.
Emily Betts, Smart. And then, thank you. And then on the screen, I'll call out agencies. Let's start with SCTA, RCPA staff.
Hey, River to SCTA, RCPA.
Ross Clendenin, SCTA, RCPA.
Adam Garcia, SCTA, RCPA.
All right, and then let's move to Sonoma County Transit staff.
Charles Smith, Sonoma County Transit.
Stephen Schmidt, Sonoma County Transit.
Right. And then let's move to Golden Gate Transit staff.
Jacob Brown with Golden Gate, and just wanted to say that David is on his way. He's had some traffic.
All right, great, thank you.
Lauren
And,
DePosh.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Lauren DePoshley, also Golden Gate Transit.
Thank you. I can't quite see up there. Do we have anyone from Marin Transit? Kathleen says she may be joining the Zoom, so maybe she'll be here later.
Actually, no, I just seen
Oh.
from Kathleen saying she's going to, she's not feeling well, will rest, but told me if anyone has any additional updates to the regional meeting list to send them to her.
Okay, great. Thank you. And do we have any members of the public on Zoom? No. Okay, great. Let's move on to item number 2, public comment. No members of the public. We'll move to item number 3, which is the meeting notes from the February 14th meeting. Does anybody have any comments or corrections?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Let's move on to item number 4 and 4.1. We have a complete streets checklist for the smart Windsor extension, and smart pathway, Windsor High School undercrossing. I put this on here as an action item, but I think that the action is really just requesting that any transit agency in the area that has routes in the area confirm that they have reviewed and is able to provide comments on the complete streets checklist. So I'll turn it over to David if you want to talk more about the project and complete streets checklist.
Sure. So just to give some background on the project, this would provide bicycle pedestrian access near Windsor High School, near the terminus of Bell Road, and then over to the west side through some private streets over to Windsor Road. The project includes constructing ADA accessible ramps to a box culvert under the smart tracks, and the project is currently in construction. The funding associated with this was approved by the SCA board. It's Regional Measure 3 North Bay Transit Access Improvement Funds. So that requirement for the complete street checklist is associated with the RM3 funds. We will be bringing the remaining recommendations that went to the TAC and CAC last month for the RM3 funds to our board in April, now that the results of the federal Reconnecting Community and Neighborhoods grant for Santa Rosa was announced. Unfortunately, the city was not awarded the funds they needed for the bicycle and pedestrian overcrossing. So the scenario that we took to the TAC and CAC that does not include that grant will be moving forward, which included 10.6 million of RM3 funds for the overcrossing, 3.6 million for Sonoma County Transit for bus replacements, 1 million for Santa Rosa City Bus for some transit hub improvements, and then I believe 2 million for Petaluma Transit for bus charging infrastructure. But the action today, as Dana mentioned, is just to review this checklist and let us know if you have any comments on it. We do have the plans on file should you want to see the design plans, but as I mentioned, this is just a bicycle pedestrian underpass, has no real impact on other transit operators, and this will be going to the CB PAC on the 27th for their final approval.
And I think we need email confirmation. Is there a Sonoma County Transit route parallel to that?
Yeah.
62, yeah, so I think that we'll just need an email confirmation that Sonoma County Transit has reviewed it and then include any comments. Okay. So that's already happened. Okay. Right. Thank you. Any other comments or discussion on this item? Okay. All right, then let's move on to regional funding, and item 5.1 is the coordinated claim for transit funding, that TDA, STA, and measure on funds for fiscal year 24-25. A preliminary draft of this was brought to you last month, and there are some modifications. I think the contribution for Santa Rosa Transit Mall, some adjustments were made there, and I believe those were the only adjustments.
Those are the only adjustments, and then just put in. Part of the TVA fund available.
Right. That's it. So I think we had all discussed before, but just to remind everyone that NCTA staff is recommending that we keep the formulas for both TDA and STA as they have been in the past for this year, but examine them this year and make a recommendation prior to the next fiscal year or the next coordinated claim. And the process for this is that it will go to the Paratransit Coordinating Committee later this month, and then to the SCTA board in April.
Dana,
Yeah.
we've filed our claim for the FY24 funds, so it's not showing up in the spreadsheets. When you do go to your board, we're not carrying a huge balance, just so you know. We've
Okay.
claimed all the past year money. It just hasn't trickled through on the MTC side. I think they'll be, at this point, taking it at their May meeting.
MTC is
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's the next commission meeting. I mean, I think we missed the April meeting by like a day, so.
Okay, yeah, we can make sure to mention that. Any other comments or questions on the coordinated claim? This is an action item, so I'll look for a motion.
Motion approval.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's approved. Thank you. Let's move on to MTC Transit 2050 plus updates. Maybe we could push this down in case David Davenport does show up and has some updates. Or are you now? Sorry, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have anything that you would like?
I love deferring to Dave Davenport to give the updates, but I can give one. And there's not that much to update it at this point. We're having a meeting tomorrow and they're going to present the preliminary network. So we shall see what is included in the preliminary network. And then evidently they'll be looking to the PMT committee to, I don't know, weigh in. So hopefully there'll be something to circulate. And then they're gonna do this PPA, project performance assessment. Which I think is sort of multifaceted cost benefit analysis of all the projects and also includes the modeling component. So I don't have a lot to update right now.
I can give an update on the larger bigger picture data.
Yeah, sure. Great.
So MTC released a little bit of information just yesterday on the timing of the overall project list. So this March, we'll be meeting with folks from MTC to talk about small projects. So we looked at our bigger projects last fall and last summer. So we'll have a chance to actually review the assumptions for the buckets or the programmatic categories this month. So if there's any follow back needed there, expect an email for us to reach out for, needing information on that. Then in April, the project performance assessment results will be shared at the SCTA level as well. So it'd be good to coordinate, see kind of how that's all playing out. So I'm sure that'll be a discussion. And generally they provide a good amount of information about what goes into that, the different factors that they use to score the projects. And then in May, we'll have a chance to review the final recommendations, what they're calling the blueprint transportation project list. So we'll have a chance to take a look and comment on that before it goes to the commission this summer. So I just received this yesterday, or we could have gotten it on the agenda, but hopefully next month I can bring back some information on how those meetings go, what's coming up. But I'm sure our board will comment on the final blueprint project list, depending on what's on there.
Once we get something to come.
So more to come.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments or discussion on this item? Great. Let's move to transit integration updates. And we have an updated regional staff coordination meetings list in your agenda packet.
I had just a couple of additions that I'll send to Kathleen. They're just minor, just noting that Matt is still working on the fair programs staff working group and Yuri is going to BAPAC. So a couple other meetings covered by additional reps.
Okay.
Just one kind of thought. I know this intentionally didn't include like I would say sub-regional meetings. I don't know if it's worth having that documented some other place and not on this list or a separate one. But I still think it would be helpful somewhere to have all this listed.
I think they're there, just, I don't know, if you keep going, items.
This
first.
final.
Yeah, do you mean like the mascots and the?
So I gave her one.
ties and T-TAC.
Yeah, I just think we have to build this. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that covers what I had the same thought and then I kept looking and I was like, oh yeah, they're there.
We're on the regional meetings list.
Oh joy.
Kathleen's not here, but she asked for any comments or additions to be sent to her.
I had sent an update to her a couple of weeks ago, and I think that was all incorporated into the document.
Yeah, that should have been.
I had a question about, because I wasn't here when she began the list, about the reporting out process, so we've gone to the meeting. Now what? Right, like, so I did go to one of them and I was like, oh, I have something to report, right? Like, so where will that be in the structure? How do you think we're gonna begin to do that portion?
Yeah, that's a great.
Everybody,
Right, I know. Everybody.
And the same thought, because then if we have a few people going to the same meeting, who's gonna be the reporter outer? I think that we haven't quite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, I
it's a
just want to
good
make sure I'm not
question.
missing.
No.
There's a piece here.
No, it's the key part, right? Like, it's all well and good to have the meetings covered, but if we're not reporting out.
And this is a find venue.
That's what I
if,
would think. That'd probably be easier.
unless there's things that are more urgent than monthly, but we could either include it in operator updates, or we can have an item on regional meeting report outs.
That would be good.
That's kind of more general
Right.
and it, okay.
I know we have one for Transit 2050 plus, so we could
Yeah.
probably just repurpose that since that's
Yeah.
sunsetting sometime this year.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And Maria, wasn't there the first regional marketing meeting that happened too?
Yeah, so we had the regional one held by Julia, and then I also went for the first time to the what's called general coordination, marketing and communications meeting led by Alicia Trost at BART. So both of those, I have little reports. I'll do it when we do a report out for agencies.
Is that on here?
Both of them are, both of them are on there, and both of them are accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, for moving forward, we'll just have a regional meetings report out. I'll probably keep the transit 2050 plus item underneath that, at least for the next few months. Until we don't need it, and then we could talk about any other meetings that have relevant information to report on.
That's good. Meetings about meetings.
All right, anything else on the regional meetings? I don't have much of an update on the Sonoma County transit integration work, other than the integration and integrated transit service plan. Thanks. What is that acronym? Is moving forward, and we expect to have a draft at the end of this month. So we'll be meeting on the 27th to review any updates, the recommendations, and then we'll have a draft document, admin draft document to review after that. The transit website, Santa Rosa City Buses website, is taking a little bit longer.
We're this close though. It's looking really good.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
it's out for review among our
Okay.
internal team, just to make sure everything's accurate and we're not missing anything, and then
Yeah,
we'll be ready to go. It's
great,
pretty exciting. Yeah,
great.
like it'll be definitely this month and hopefully within a week or so.
Okay, excellent. So we're actually not meeting with them today. After this meeting, I'll send some updates, but we'll have time for a regular check-in. And then I'll just open it up if anybody has any other transit integration related topics they want to talk about.
I just had a question. I believe at the board meeting, SCTA board meeting Monday, was the transit ad hoc reconvened?
Oh, yes, it was. And Drew has the list.
Right.
I was
missed that part of the
looking
meeting.
for my cheat sheet. So yeah, the transit ad hoc was there were members appointed, and Drew, if you wouldn't mind reading off the list of members, that'd be great.
Certainly, Vice Chair Melanie Bagby, Chris Corsi, David Rabbit, Gerard Mursay, and Janice Peter Thompson.
And I think the idea is to have roughly 3 meetings, maybe 4 at the most this year. Additionally, there was a group identified for the regional measure. So I think that meeting is going to be scheduled fairly soon. And it's a different group than the transit ad hoc, but throughout this year, we'll expect to have at least 3 transit ad hoc meetings.
Drew, do you also know who's on the regional measure? Do you have that? And just out of curiosity? All right.
Knowledge, Chair Linda Hopkins, Vice Chair Melanie Bagby, David Rabbit, Chris Rogers, and Sandra Lowe.
Great, thank you.
And that group should probably be meeting next week after the actual legislation is released on Monday. That's what we're shooting for.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Looks like Joanne has her hand up.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Joanne.
Sorry, I didn't catch this when the TDA claim was up. I'll send you an email too. If it's possible, can you guys asterisk the claim? You have Measure M in there going to SMART, and it looks like on page 1, it looks like it's the equivalent of what Measure M goes to the bus operators for, which is operating. I think it says like 1.5 million. And just so that the board can see that that's going to the Petaluma station construction, correct?
Yeah, so I know that's all for it's all capital. And yeah, we could definitely asterisk that, and I'll check in with David and Shauna to get the language correct.
Okay, thank you. It's not quite apples to apples what SMART can use Measure M for versus bus operators. So since the TDA claim is being used, and Rachel and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, and Jared, you're all using it for operating, right? All your STA claim money?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there is on page 4 with the detail of the Measure M, it does say 5% to SMART for capital, but I'm happy to put an asterisk on that on the front page, the summary page.
Perfect, thanks. I'm sure your board reads every cell.
Of the very, very long spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Any other transit integration items? Okay, let's move into operator updates. Emily, would you like to go first?
Sure.
We're about halfway through our strategic plan public workshops. We have one tomorrow night on extensions, and then we have one more on freight. And then we'll be doing sort of more community meetings through the summer on that. So we're busy getting ready for that. We are doing a partial system closure over 2 weekends. We're going to close from Petaluma to the north and run regular service on the it's weekends only, Saturday and Sunday. It's for the construction of Petaluma North Station. We looked at running a bus bridge, and it was just way too complicated to allow enough time, consistently to get from Petaluma to Cotati and then keep that train on any consistent schedule to the north. So, and then we also toyed around with just cutting service completely, right? But we have a lot of people showing up on the ferry from San Francisco, and at least now they can go as far as Petaluma.
Options.
I know, like, if you consider Petaluma.
Exactly.
It's great. Yeah, the marketing is
Perfect.
funny. So we've been trying to sort of walk the line of saying, the system's closed this weekend, you might not want to take the train, and saying, okay, if you do really want to take the train, here's how you do it. And also we've been working with Golden Gate we created a series of little maps to put at the stations to show people, if you're at the SMART station and there's no train, here's how you walk to Golden Gate and get on the 101, right? It's not a convenient option for most people, but we wanted, so, of course we're getting criticism on both sides. You can't win. But the goal is to let enough people know in advance so that they can change their plans that weekend and not show up to a closed train station. So that's going to be March 23rd and 24th. So 10 days, I guess, from now, and April 13th and 14th. And Golden Gate is adding some extra capacity on some of the runs, I think, but remains to be seen whether.
Yeah,
they need it or not.
I talked to our ops staff and we'll try to put more MCIs out.
Mhm.
But not all of the blocks can have it.
Yeah.
And then the advantage is there's, 57 seats instead of 39 seats.
Mhm.
But then there's only 2 bike positions instead of 3, and it's a lot harder to use. And the wheelchair lift instead of ramp is difficult too. So on our end, I think we're messaging, please don't bring your bikes.
Yeah, and we added that to the website
Oh,
too.
perfect.
We
Okay.
put note that Golden Gate doesn't, have a lot of room for bikes. So hopefully you get a few extra riders out of it. Let's see what else is going on here. We're starting our seniors and youth ride free on April 1st. We actually also just agreed with Golden Gate to reduce the cost of the rail and sail pass to $10 from $12, which is sort of a minor point, but it was consistently more expensive for some groups than just using Clipper on both systems. And I thought, while we're making fair changes, let's just go ahead and make that one for the summer. We're ramping up our Giants service. And marketing, I think that's all I've got. Ridership's been steady, but definitely impacted by the rain. But 25% higher than last year. So can ask for more than that. That's all I can think.
Great. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, who was the one that gave the final approval on our side for the sail and rail?
Well, it was Dana. It was sort of like the easiest policy change we've ever made. It was
Yeah.
very strange. Mhm.
Which, because it doesn't exist
Right.
in our master
Yes.
ordinance apparent.
Yeah.
So,
But I didn't
I guess
know-
it's your fair product and we just take it and you give us money.
I just didn't know if it needed to be run by your CFO, but the amount of money that you were getting is not changing and.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Which is
so-
probably why the CFO didn't worry about it.
Right, yeah, I know.
But the question was posed as, well, do we have to do a public hearing and board action?
Right.
And then the answer was, oh, well, it's not in our master ordinance.
Hmm.
So I guess it worked out, but I'm just curious. So it was game.
Yeah, and I asked her, is there someone else we should be talking to, but she didn't.
Yeah, she discussed it with
Yeah.
Ron and me.
Okay.
But we weren't sure if she was the final say or what.
Me either. I was like, this was so easy.
Yeah.
So.
I think the key is to not have fares in the master ordinance.
There you go.
I was just gonna say, the lesson has been learned.
All right, I think that's all I'm sure.
All right, thanks. All right, how about Petaluma Transit?
All right. So for January ridership, our fixed route was up 39%. Paratransit was up 32% compared to January 2023. So continuing to increase there. Our fixed route bus purchase orders executed for our 4 new flyer buses. Anticipate taking delivery of those in February 2025. So we have our build kickoff next week for that. We're excited. Overall, our fleet is aging and we have several that have needed kind of engine overhaul. So it's kind of a difficult time for us now. I know we're not the only ones in that boat fleet wise with aging vehicles. Design work continues on our facility electrification improvements at about 30 to 50% design level now. Again, hoping to have that bid within a couple months and completed by the end of the year. We're looking to apply for a no emission grants, no, this current cycle, currently looking at that process. We have a demo vehicle that we're looking at right now called the Carson E-Jest. It's a smaller, like a kind of micro shuttle type vehicle. We have a demo this week, so if anyone wants to see it, feel free to come by the transit yard, 555 North McDowell. We'll let the drivers testing it out a bit and maybe put in limited service on routes 1024. And then microtransit fare free. Maria, did you want to update those?
Yeah, not a ton of updates, still working on the marketing components for mainly fare free is the focus, trying to get that rolled out before microtransit. Working on the procurement process for microtransit with VIA. I did want to report out because I did my homework. I went to the meeting and I want to tell you all, I went to one of the regional meetings, yay. No, it was actually really useful. The one with Alicia Trost, she had what is her name? Haley Richardson from the Transit Center talk. I don't know if you guys have seen this, how to talk about transit in a way that inspires. And so there's really great, especially for those who don't have a huge marketing, either budget or, resources. There are just some great points in here, but they use focus groups for the terminology. And so a lot about equity. So it's a good kind of quick guide to use these. This is how focus groups responded, things that we wouldn't be able to do with messaging. So, and the speaker, Haley Richardson, had said, I'm open to, and I've actually asked her a few questions with our Fair Free marketing. Hey, what do you think about this and that? So they're an advocacy group, so a great resource. So I can send it to Dana if folks want it. So that was fun. The other thing that Alicia brought up was Bart, I should say, is they have a calendar, a community calendar kind of thing for the agency. So we're all kind of putting our items on that, getting closer so that we're not overlapping on events. We don't have that issue as much with being further from them, but as you get kind of closer and larger events. So they're really far 6-7 months out, but kind of neat to see some of the fun that they're planning. Julia also held for SMART, the marketing meeting born out of mascots. It was also Sonoma County operators. She also has a calendar. So there's two. I don't know if at some point those would be meshed, but it is kind of different, right? Maybe what you want to be attentive to is more Sonoma. So happy to send that as well. We talked a little bit about Transit Employee Appreciation Day, which is March 18th. APTA had put out some marketing templates, so we shared those. But I think it was a great first meeting, really getting us coordinated in terms of what is the messaging, what are the resources we had. For example, we talked about having like a Canva class and how do you use this? So, and talking more about creating assets together versus we create some, they create some. So I think it's off to a great start. So yay for marketing. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. All right, Sonoma County Transit.
Sure. Well, our ridership is increasing too. I think we were up about 25% last month, about 75% pre-pandemic. So slowly though, coming back. We have 4 new paratransit vans will be here by the end of June. We went ahead and moved on our order with Proterra, or now Phoenix Motors, for 5 buses versus 10, just because we need buses, and they'll have them to us by the end of December. If not, there's big penalties that they have agreed to. So that was also part of the deal. We have an order pending with Gillig for maybe up to 10 buses for delivery in 2026. And we just took delivery of 3 35-foot BYD buses that would be in Roanoke Park and Cotati, local service. Our construction project is on hold right now, but they'll resume on April 15th. And we should be done in August. So this will give us 19 chargers. 32 overnight, I think, is what the number was. And we're going to apply for a low no grant, so maybe we'll talk more about that. I think that's about it.
Brian, what make are your paratransit vehicles?
The new ones will be Starcraft. Everything else is Clobel.
Okay.
Okay, for City Bus, as I mentioned earlier, we're really close to launching the new website, and we're gonna do sort of a couple 3-day soft launch and then really start pushing the messaging on it as soon as we know everything's working right. But yeah, we're just doing a last internal review, and I think there's some other things we'd like to do with the website to build it out, but at this point we just want to get it out there. So we're just make sure we get all the baseline public information done and accurate, and all the real-time information working correctly. So it's looking really good. Matt did a ton of work on it in the last week or so, and it's really coming together. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Much as we will be hewing to the January-August regional service change schedule, we are also going to need to be doing some adjustments in late spring. So I don't have a date yet, but I should very soon. And so this is just some on-time performance adjustments, and we're going to be able to add a little bit of service on Route 9, which is still at an hourly headway. It really needs a 30-minute headway, so that's super exciting. So stay tuned on that. We're just going through our run fed committee process with the union at this point. And then we're starting, we're really, I mentioned the last meeting, we're really getting down to brass tacks on the temporary transit mall relocation this summer when we do the roadbed. And we're gonna be reaching out. If someone hasn't reached out to Sonoma County Transit, Adam will be doing that soon. He's meeting on site with Golden Gate Transit today, just to go over bus bay locations, make sure that operationally, we're on the same page with where buses will be in the temporary transit mall.
This will be the same area we did
Yeah.
many years ago.
Yep,
Okay.
that's right. And we just did a walk around with traffic engineers last week to make sure we get the signage working well. The existing striping, I think, is gonna work really well, so there's not a whole lot that has to be done. But there's lots and lots and lots of little details. So we're kind of developing a lengthy punch list that we're gonna have to tackle in the next couple of months, but that's still on track.
And what's
How
the
long
date?
that?
Oh,
That's
so- yeah, so, well, I'll answer both questions with one response. So the goal is to start the project June 10th, right after school gets out, and be done by mid-August when school starts again. And right now with the IFB process, we're still on track for that. Obviously, hopefully nothing will change, but if anything changes, I'll let you know.
Do you know that Golden Gate is doing the field review?
I can let you know, it's someone from operations
Okay. That's
that,
not super important. So.
yeah, no, I'll find out. I didn't catch the name.
But okay,
Yeah.
I just want to touch base with them on the timing, because I think it's a long enough move that we might want to update our GTFS feed.
Yeah, that might be useful to do, right? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, we need at least 45 days for the concrete to cure. So, yeah. So more to come on that, but yeah, I'll definitely be giving updates as we get closer. And then I think that was it. Yeah, our ridership continues to be up about 9% year over year, which is, still good for us. And, we're really just, unfortunately still holding steady with how much service we can put back, except for this little additional bit we're gonna be able to eke out late spring, but hoping to be able to do more sooner than later.
All right, thanks. How about Golden Gate Transit?
Sure, so we have service change effective in April for both bus and ferry. The ferry date is April 8th, which is Monday, and then the bus date is somebody emailed me right when I was looking at my calendar, and April 14th, Sunday, for bus service changes. So I think 1 or 2 meetings ago, I had mentioned that there had been a look at whether something would change on Route 101, but that's not moving forward. But we are implementing the express variation of Route 580, which is our Richmond Bridge bus service, just based on ongoing traffic problems in that corridor, which have been a problem for close to 10 years now, and part of the reason why I got here when I did today. But for as bad as it is, it's still faster than trying to take Highway 37 up here. So that says a lot. Anyway, for ferry, we are getting rid of the weekend, early morning trip from San Francisco to Larkspur. Poor ridership, no surprise. Every time we run something at that time of the day, nobody takes it. But we do still have a late morning northbound trip, which we used to not have. So at least there is still that ability to do a day trip now via the ferry, connecting to Smart or whatever. If somebody wishes to go visit beautiful downtown Petaluma, depending on which closure weekend it is. In terms of ridership, looking at January numbers, which I think is a little bit better because of the leap year because the 29th was on a weekday this year. Compared to January the year previous, so 2024 to 2023, our bus ridership overall is up 16%, and our ferry ridership is up 47%. But still well below pre-pandemic levels, 54% below pre-pandemic levels still. So we're carrying far fewer people than we used to. But at least the numbers are still going up. And then I think that's most of what I had. I did have a question, because everybody's talking about buses. We have lots of buses if you're interested. Hopefully the transfer is working out with City Bus. I haven't heard an update lately.
Yeah, we're working it through. Yeah.
So 3 down, 77 more to go.
You're looking to sell 77?
Well, if we want to be compliant with FTA's 20% spare ratio, yes, we need to get rid of 7. I think we're trying to get 3 to Reading as well. So 74 to go.
Where are we looking at for?
Oh, 73 to go.
You want to do the deal, but we
Oh, wait,
can-
there's more.
We need-
Call now.
Get like a, yeah, I like this. Oh, Brian, we're on the deal.
I know that the challenge for a lot of people in the Bay Area is they're not interested in hybrids. The MCIs are diesels and then the Gilligs are diesel hybrids. And a lot of people want to get a jump start on their zero emission switchover, even though that requirement doesn't exist for several more years. That's it for me.
I probably should add that we're also making service changes. I emailed you all, they're minor, but they're to coordinate with Barry. So basically reprinting our brochure and our new care information. Great. Well, I guess we're on other business announcements and comments. I do want to make just one announcement, just a reminder that TFC applications are due next Friday, March 22nd. If anybody wants to talk through any project ideas, application form issues, anything like that, reach out to me and David.
Good question.
Yeah.
Emily, did you already give the Transit 2050 plus update? Because that came in late.
I did. It was not an extensive update.
Okay, yeah, there's not too much.
Yeah,
to say.
basically
So,
more to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Soon, no, soon.
Yeah. Sounds like tomorrow we should start getting some more.
Mhm.
Is there an update on bike share?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I should just always talk about it under operator updates, right? Let's see, we are, we've made a recommendation after doing a kind of internal survey and then more public survey on the branding, to use the word Redwood, whether it's Redwood Bike Share or Redwood Bikes or Redwood Wheels, we're still kind of working out. But the Drop Mobility is using their marketing team to come up with some designs with the different variations on the name. They've put together a list of station locations based on the work that was done with the previous operator. And that's out for review with all the jurisdictions and transit agencies involved. Let's see, we will be, let's see if I can just actually pull up our list here. We have our next meeting in early April. The Drop Mobility is also working on, whatever that naming is gonna, we'll need to get a URL and then, so the website will be developed with that branding and the app as well. We're also working on coordinating with some, non-government agency, properties that we had been working with previously, so, colleges, universities, and other private properties. And in April, we'll be really focusing on site planning, permitting processes, and let's see, the bikes have been ordered. So yeah, it's all in motion. We have a call set up next week with Drop to talk about sponsorships. There's been some discussion and interest, and we'll also kind of narrow down estimates for what additional hubs would cost kind of outside of what's in our grant and our agreement, so. As those locations are identified, we'll have a sense of what the cost would be to add locations. And I think that's all.
What's the number of bikes?
Yeah, it's 300 across Sonoma and Marin County, so.
E-assist bucks.
Yes, they're all electric assist bikes, class 1 pedal assist. I think that kind of the main difference between the system we're planning under Bolt and the new vendor drop is that they're looking at fewer or more station locations, which will need to be identified, but with the same number of bikes, but having more locations to park. So that should, help with people's ability to get more places. All right, anything else? Lightning fast meeting today. Thank you all.
Thank you. Meetings have been long.
Yeah.
Sorry, the drive-through took me longer.